at home. I'll make it up to you. Do all the things that I gotta do. Ha ha. Yeah, I've been practicing a lot. It's a work in progress. That's great, Taco Bell. No, the fuck it wasn't. You can't even make tacos and now you think you can sing, bitch? Mickey D's, how about you take it easy, bro? Nah, let him cook, gang. Man, I really gotta get this split personality under control. Like, seriously, Taco Bell, I just don't even understand why you're here, bro. You are the most basic form of food, bitch. That's really weird coming from you. Yeah, and you're fucking... What did you just say? I don't know, it's just that you're kind of like me, but with burgers.
Emotional damage.
Twin, where have you been? Bitch, this is so diabolical. Bitch, what are you even talking about? I am the greatest burger chain of all time. I don't know, I feel like if you really were the greatest, you wouldn't have to say that. Oh my god, somebody give me some popcorn and a Snuggie, now! Like if I threw a rock in any direction, it would probably hit a restaurant that has better burgers than you. Who the fuck do you think you're talking to? I'm talking to a C- health inspection. Damn, Taco Bell, let him get up. I don't need help from you, you fucking loser. You kind of do need their help because Burger King makes better burgers than you. What the fuck? I mean, their fries are bad and they always look closed, but besides that, they're pretty solid. Damn, I don't even know what to say to all that. Okay, see, Taco Bell, now you finna have to see me, bitch. McDonald's, chill out, bitch. Oh, well, since we talking about basic bitches, who the fuck still goes to Chili's? Probably people who want a good burger that was made wholeheartedly. And doesn't look like it was put together by a 4-year-old who's blind, deaf, and has a Samsung phone. Holy shit. I know I'm the crazy alternate ego, but I'm scared. So I'm gonna go and probably not hang out with none of y'all for kind of a while. I'm gonna start going to church. I am so glad I showed up. This is the best stupid meeting ever. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba, I'm not loving it, but addiction comes in many forms. And I thought I was the biggest troll of all time. I totally am, but this is amazing. Bitch, I'm gonna be in Little Rock, Arkansas, May 28th through the 31st. And click the link in my bio to see if I'm coming to your city.
Good evening, good evening, good evening. Thank you for joining me here for Conversations with Taz. I'm finding it. I'm finding it. I think this through when I picked the opening video. I didn't, but we got this. But it's on par because we need a little giggle before we get into tonight. And I'm not gonna hold you long because this week is another 3-show week. So I'm not going to hold you long tonight. Remember, there is the Royal Conversation with Royal Star Mastery and myself tomorrow, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central. So make sure you mark your calendars and get here. And hey, we got Courtney in the house tonight. Yeah.
Hey, Sparklebud.
Hey, Queen Sparklebud. Now, you may be aware, you may not be aware. The Afrikaners, the first wave of them, have arrived. I know we have big feelings about it, but there's going to be 2 videos that I'm going to play back to back for you. And then I have 2 articles and then we're going to discuss. Okay. Stick a pin in judgment till we get through both videos and both articles, or at least through both videos. All right. I'll see you in 2 and 2.
This video is for the white Afrikaners who are coming to the United States. I think you've already landed here. And I know that some of the folks who met you at the airport told you, welcome, we're so glad you're here. Most of us aren't glad you're here, okay? We don't want you here. We never wanted you here. And furthermore, I noticed they're gonna settle you in Idaho, Ohio, and North Carolina. I will tell you they're not our finest states, so they're a good fit for you. I understand that many of you are farmers, and I've seen a lot of people say, oh, that's great, we need more farmers. Sorry to say we don't. We actually need farm workers because we've deported most of them. So if you can, put your picking hat on and think about, picking produce, that's largely probably what you're going to be doing here because I hear you don't have a lot of skills. I would also say that you're not going to have to hold just one job, but probably 2 or 3. to make up for your quality of life that you had back in South Africa. There will be no servants working for $2 a day. There's none of that here. So you're the servant who's working for $2 a day. So enjoy that. You're gonna have to pay for your health care, and ordinarily, because you're a refugee who's being discriminated against, you would go on Medicaid. But guess what? The Republicans just cut Medicaid. So I don't think you're going to have that option for healthcare. So maybe you'll do without. I don't know. And honestly, I don't care. I did notice that the Episcopalian Church had a program with the government where they would, excuse me, they would resettle and help, refugees resettle. They find you all to be so onerous, they terminated the partnership with the government. And they said, yeah, we won't be resettling those folks. Other things that you need to know about. While we are 58% white here in the United States, that's not going to last much longer. Within the next couple of years, we're going to be the minority, which will be fun for you because that's what you're used to. Interestingly enough, we have a ton of Latinos. We're the second largest Spanish-speaking country in the world. So for you, if you could stop speaking that dirty, guttural, whatever it is, German, French, Dutch thing that you speak, that Afrikaans, nobody wants to hear that shit. So you can speak English or you can speak Spanish, which is really the second language here. In terms of other things that you need to know about, the Black people in this country, they don't get fucked with, okay? I know that there's a long legacy of colonialism and all kinds of stuff happening in your country, but our Black folks have sort of been through the fire, if you will, and they're not gonna be fucked with. So you're the minority here. Enjoy. I really hope you like your time here. I'm gonna bet my ass that you're gonna be booking it back to SA probably within the next 12 months. Have a great day.
If you're wondering where all these South Africans are going to go, don't worry. They already had a plan in place. And it was called Acre Trader. That's right. They already took the farmland from farmers who were failing. As a matter of fact, they have about 40,000 acres of farmland that they took from American farmers because they wouldn't give them subsidies. Acre Trader is an American real estate investment company that specializes in farmland. It says here that the company aims to increase investor access to real estate assets and provides capitals to farmers and growers to expand their business. But what they failed to leave out here is that the first investor into Acre Trader was none other than J.D. Vance. You know J.D. Vance, the one who was in charge of the White House with the president who is cutting all the subsidies to the farmers? Yeah, that J.D. Vance. And what they also failed to mention is the fact that the people who were investing, yeah, they were South Africaners. And guess who just came to America to go on these farms? That's right. You guessed it. Are you sick of it yet? Are you sick of it yet? $880 billion being pulled from Medicaid so they can fund tax money going to the rich. Your farmland being taken away from American farmers and being given to South African refugees. People being human trafficked all over the United States and outside of this country for financial gain. Minimum wage is $7.25. Hasn't been raised since 2009. You can't afford healthcare. You can't afford your car insurance. You're probably not going to be able to buy a home anytime soon. And grocery prices are through the roof. And guess who's going to own your food now? The People's Sick Day is coming. It's going to be a 1 to 3 day collection of people who are going to take back their power by setting down. No more showing up for work when you're making peanuts and they're giving away your farmland to foreigners. You better join us because unless we stand up, none of us are going to win this fight.
Before we fully react, full disclosure, coming from the Daily Beast, major church defies Trump by refusing to resettle his refugees. Remember, everything is supposed to be American made. America, fuck yeah. You know, all that good stuff. Remember all the talking points where they were saying that, immigrants and migrants were getting free this, free that, free everything, and we knew it was bullshit. Well, they've made that a reality for the Afrikaners, whose first language is not English, it's Afrikaans. And although many of them can speak English, do they like speaking English? No. Like I said, coming from the Daily Beast, let's get into it. The Episcopal Church is ending its refugee resettlement partnership with the federal government over the Trump administration's preferential treatment of white South Africans. In a letter to church members Monday, the most Reverend Sean Rowe objected to the administration's call to help resettle white Afrikaners. I don't know why y'all keep saying white Afrikaners. That's all they're going to be is white. While refugee admissions from many other countries remain on hold, countries that need refuge. And the rules are you got to be over here to file for, we've been over this many times. Y'all know how this goes. In light of our church's steadfast commitment to racial justice and reconciliation and our historic ties with the Anglican Church of South Africa, we are not able to take this step, Rowe wrote. Accordingly, we have determined that by the end of the federal fiscal year, we will conclude our refugee resettlement grant agreements with the U.S. federal government. Rowe took issue with the selective nature of the Trump administration's approach to white South Africans' refugee claims. They lied. He lied. We all know they lied. And I know, I said stick a pin in it until we get through this second article. Let's finish the first one. It has been painful to watch one group of refugees selected in a highly unusual manner receive preferential treatment over many others who have been waiting in refugee camps or dangerous conditions for years, he wrote. They're white. This is the same country that gave refuge to Nazis. Let me repeat. This is the same country that gave refuge to Nazis. And for the love of all things holy and not so holy, can y'all stop saying, this is from the playbook of Hitler. This is from the playbook of Mussolini. This is our playbook. Other countries, our cousins, our siblings, our bastardized offspring, in some instances, they've just been coming to us, checking our handbook out of the library and bringing it back. And when they bring it back, we keep adding chapters onto it. Stop trying to shift the blame. In case you haven't noticed, that's a part of white supremacy. That is why we are stuck in this Groundhog's Day, because collectively we refuse to acknowledge and face head first and learn the actual factual history of this blood-drenched soil, stolen land. That's not all. That's not all. Okay, I told y'all 2 articles. Now remember, the Afrikaners and Trumplefuck are saying they're being so poorly treated. Coming from the Latin Times, South African president says white residents labeled refugees by Trump want country to go back to apartheid. No shit. Y'all do realize Afrikaners are people who are willing to uproot their entire lineage, to travel, to engage in overt racism, to engage in the ownership of melanated bodies. And not only will they own melanated bodies, they'll own the bodies of people who look like them, should said people not agree with them. They look at you as less when you're of European descent, when you're not walking around with the creature comforts that they believe should be standard to white-bodied individuals. Well, let's get into the article. South Africa's president pushed back against U.S. President Donald Trump's claims that white South Africans are facing a genocide following their admittance as refugees, but you're not offering refugee status to people from Sudan, the Congo, Palestine, hell, melanated people within the United States. Those people who are being enticed to go to the United States do not fit the definition of a refugee, President Cyril Ramaphosa said during the African CEO Forum's annual summit Monday. He emphasized that those in question are not victims of persecution, but rather a fringe grouping who oppose South Africa's post-apartheid reform. Now, I want you, in your own time, in between time, I want you to do a little bit of research. Here's a little bit of homework. I know I normally don't give y'all too much homework over here, but I'm going to give y'all some tonight. I want you to research when apartheid ended. I want you to really look at how long these motherfuckers have had their panties in a twist. I want you to look at how much time they have had to move on and create a place where they can oppress whoever the fuck they want to. And the fact that they're not leaving till now, where, as you can see, they're being given the opportunity to relive history again, come in and take somebody else's shit and benefit from it. And as you can tell, they haven't learned anything, because what's going to happen, we already know what's going to happen, but let's go. Cyril Ramaphosa rejects Trump's claims of white genocide and says white Afrikaner refugees fleeing want South Africa to return to apartheid. They are leaving ostensibly because they don't want to embrace the changes that are taking place in our country, Ramaphosa said, adding that those individuals would actually like to see South Africa go back to apartheid. Trump defended his administration's resettlement plan during remarks at the White House on Monday, stating that white farmers in South Africa are being brutally killed and their land confiscated. Where are the bodies at? Where are the bodies at? And these are people of means. These are people of means that you just subsidize, that you just sponsored to come to these here United States. They have zero desire to be inclusive, but these are people of means who could pack the fuck up and go wherever the hell they wanted to go for the sake of safety. Because I don't know, if somebody's trying to kill me, I will get up and leave. Now, there are people who are below dirt poor, okay? They don't even have dirt in their pockets to barter, okay? They couldn't even eat the dirt for a little bit of sustenance. That's how poor they are. They made it out of horrific genocidal conditions from countries whose governments were destabilized by the United States. And you won't let them in. Okay. He called it a genocide and criticized reporters for ignoring what he portrayed as a racially motivated crisis. Okay, I thought all of the media was fake news. So if they report it, then that means it's not true, right? Hey, media, get on that. Get on that. Do some exposés about Afrikaners. You catch what I'm putting down? They happen to be white. Whether they are white or black makes no difference to me. The fuck it doesn't. Does he know we can see him and we can hear him and we know his history? Mr. I have good genes because I'm German. Trump said, if it were the other way around, they'd talk about it. It's been the other way around, motherfucker. It's the other way around in 2 countries, at least right now. And you ain't talking about it. Ramaphosa, however, rejected those claims and said he had spoken directly with Trump, urging him not to accept misinformation spread by anti-transformation factions in South Africa. We are well taught by Nelson Mandela, Ramaphosa said, to build a united nation of the diverse groupings that we have in South Africa. We intend to proceed with the implementation of our constitutional architecture. Trump and Ramaphosa had a face-to-face meeting planned for next week. We think that American government has got the wrong end of the stick here, Ramaphosa said, but we'll continue talking to them. Trump just said, it doesn't matter to me if they're black or white, but you didn't want to listen to the black head of the country regarding the lies that the white people told you. And you know that they're lies. What's the universal language of white people? You know, you remember, is that tricky language called a lying. Mm-hmm. 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 And in more immigration news, coming from the Associated Press, federal judge okays use of Alien Enemies Act to deport Venezuelans who are labeled gang members. A federal judge says President Donald Trump can use the Alien Enemies Act to deport Venezuelan citizens who are shown to be members of the Tren de Aragua gang. The ruling Tuesday from U.S. District Judge Stephanie Haynes in Pennsylvania appears to be the first time a federal judge has signed off on Trump's proclamation calling them a foreign terrorist organization and invoking the 18th century wartime law to deport people labeled as being members of the gang. We are not at war with anybody right now at this moment. It might change 5 minutes from now. Hell, it might change by the time we all go to sleep and wake up. Because with Trump and the dumb fucks in his administration at the helm, ain't no fucking telling. And the way that dumb fuck Pete Hegseth is trying to dismantle any and everything. Oh, we're wide open to attacks from everyone. And for that, there is a whole news update of today's headlines over on Substack. That's where they're going to be from now on. Also Tuesday, another federal judge in the Western District of Texas temporarily barred the Trump administration from using the Alien Enemies Act to deport people in that region. At least 3 other federal judges have said Trump was improperly using the AEA to speed deportations of people the administration says are Venezuelan gang members. Haynes, a Trump appointee, also said the administration hasn't been giving enough notice to people facing removal under the AEA. She ordered the administration to provide at least 21 days notice, far longer than the 12 hours that some deportees have been given. The case poses significant issues that are deeply interwoven with the constitutional principles upon which the nation's government is founded, Haynes wrote. In approaching these issues, the court begins by stressing the questions that is not resolving at this time. The ruling doesn't address whether the administration can remove people under other immigration laws, nor does it address whether Trump can invoke the Alien Enemies Act to deport people who simply migrated to the U.S. and who aren't members of foreign terrorist organizations, Haynes wrote. She also did not weigh in on whether people suspected of being members of other groups could be removed under the act. But she did say that the act can be used to remove Venezuelan citizens who are at least 14 years old, who are in the U.S. without legal immigration status, and who are members of the gang. Like, how are we supposed to determine this? Because we see how they're determining who's a member of MS-13. So you could call it a slippery slope. It's a slip and fall for me. But you know. Now, technically, this next story isn't an immigration story, but it is anti-Blackness. But I love how this individual gathers her own community and makes some great points. So put your listening ears on, let your smarticle particles get that workout on, okay? Suppress the need to fight and argue. Listen for hearing and listen for understanding. Don't just hear for rebuttal, okay? Once again, see you in 2 and 2.
Seems as though the app wasn't a huge fan of a brown face calling out anti-Blackness, so it pulled this video from the feed within the first hour. No big deal. But I'm still gonna try to make the same point in a slightly drunker, more oblique way. To the South Asians on here, trying to make the case that Shah Rukh Khan was disrespected on the carpet of the Met Gala, simply because he was asked standard interview questions. The first one being, hey, as the first Bollywood attendee, are you excited? I don't think you know what disrespect is. Because yes, Shah Rukh Khan is objectively one of the most famous actors on planet Earth and has been for over 2 decades. But why was this the first Met Gala he attended? You think it was a coincidence that this also happened to be the first Met Gala where an underrepresented population finally was at the helm of the theme and the guest list? Does that feel like an accident to you? When I think of other similar star-studded global events, like Cannes, for instance, did you know members of Bollywood have been attending Cannes since the late 40s? Did you know that in 1983, we had the first Bollywood director sit on the jury? Aishwarya Rai became the first Bollywood actress to sit on the jury at Cannes over 20 years ago. Why do you think it took so long here? Could it be, interestingly, that when Black Americans in this country gain representation and power, we all, as minorities, gain representation and power? Or is that just a conspiracy theory? It is increasingly alarming to me that the South Asian community has no real concept of what Black Americans have done for us here. That's disrespectful. And it's not just disrespectful, it's dangerous. Because as I've tried to make clear in video after video, in conversation after conversation, to this administration, melanin is melanin is melanin. You're worried about representation? Without solidarity, this administration is going to pick us off one by one. But good luck with that anti-Blackness. Hope that proximity to whiteness works out for you.
And that's the thing. And also, let me add this caveat. The whole conversation regarding Shah Rukh Khan, and y'all should, I know the whole being the spokesperson for bleaching cream that doesn't really bleach skin is rubbing people the wrong way. Look up his driving record. And look up his pharmaceutical usage. But here's the thing. The whole conversation regarding Shah Rukh Khan is to avoid having a conversation regarding who they're truly pissed off at. It was a white woman who was disrespectful to Shah Rukh Khan. But the colonization, the internalized racism is so deep, they can't bring themselves to criticize a white person, especially the default damsel in distress. But to close things out, because like I said, I'm trying to keep it short and sweet for y'all because it's a 3-show week. We've been doing 2 shows a week for a while, so I'm not trying to tire y'all out. And things get a little heavy around here, And if you do need a break, check the link in my bio. There are some non-political, non-history stories. There's a link there. And if you do read the stories, please vote or comment, engage with the stories. There you go. Also, if you're not subscribed, over to Substack. If you do want additional information regarding politics, the history as it unfolds now and the historic context behind it, more deconstructing materials, all that, it's over there. Cool. And you can also subscribe on TikTok now for additional, more in-depth history videos through History with Taz. But maybe y'all don't care about bodily autonomy. Maybe you don't care about increased taxes. Maybe you don't care about losing a job. Maybe you don't care about, the federal government running on a skeleton crew. Maybe you don't care about immigration and deportation. Cool. But you know what I've learned is a great unifier in the United States? Because one thing is always free to do, and that's rub one out. And we do appreciate our free pornography. But guess what they're attacking now? Maybe this will wake some of y'all up. Watch this, and I'll see y'all tomorrow. Same time, same place.
So this just in, a new Republican bill would ban all pornography in the United States. This is a new bill introduced by Trump ally Utah Senator Mike Lee called the Interstate Obscenity Definition Act, or the IODA. The bill seeks to redefine what qualifies as obscene under federal law and would update the standard for criminally prosecuting explicit content online. The bill would update the current Communications Act to make it so individuals could face prosecution for sharing or hosting content deemed to be sexually explicit and lacking serious literary, artistic, political, or scientific value. This bill is co-sponsored by Republican Representative from Illinois, Mary Miller, and in a statement on Twitter, Republican Mike Lee said the following, quote, "Obscenity is not protected by the First Amendment, but hazy, unenforceable definitions have allowed pornography companies to infect our society, peddle smut to children, and do business across state lines unimpeded. Congress will have a chance to consider the legislation next month." We're going to continue to follow this story and more, so make sure you're following our account and add the Midas Touch podcast right now on Apple Podcasts and Spotify for more.